Hey guys, what's up? It's Firefang92 once again bringing you a News of the Week segment. Starting right off on Friday, just after the last one, we got the reveals of the stuff that's going to be in the fighter collection from actual people pulling it, so I'll go over those. What we didn't know about was, first of all, Dark Knight Effenstein. Effenstein. Something. Don't know how to pronounce it, but I know it's the double R Shadow Paladin. Uh, Stride, obviously, choose one of your rear guards and retire it when it's placed on Vanguard Circle. Kind of important there. You may pay the cost. If you do until the end of the turn, it gets power plus 7,000. And uh, when this unit attacks hits a Vanguard, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. Pretty nice card there. Gives you a different way to go aside from the Dark Recruiter for your first stride. Uh, Not really sure what the point of the 7,000 is as opposed to like 5,000 or something. Uh, if he, I guess if he's boosted with an 8K, it becomes 41 if you're still playing the 8K in that deck. Uh, yeah, pretty nice, pretty nice. Not much to say about him though. Just basically your first stride option. The next card is Golden Dragon Scourge Point Dragon. Gold Paladin double rare. Auto, when a unit is called from your deck, that unit and this unit being Scourge Point, gain 5k power until the end of the turn. Which is nice, especially if you're playing like a bluish flame deck where you like to operate on getting a bunch of calls and call cycles and things. You can boost his power up pretty high and potentially give power to the field. Though, yeah, I think Liberators is really where he's going to find his home. Not sure if you should probably play like two of him and two galloping, uh, or whatever his name's actually going to be, because lions don't gallop. uh, yeah, because they're going to be useful in different opportunities. If you have like your Aglavales and stuff, or if you don't, then just go to galloping and try to hit. Moving on, Kagero Double R, Divine Dragon Knight Zan, Counterblast 1. When a unit is retired due to an effect from one of your cards, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So for every retire, you get another retire. It's a little counterblast heavy, but with the right setup, you can basically field wipe. Like if you're striding him on top of Blade Master and have the starter on the field, that's basically four counterblasts for four retires. But if the opportunity presents itself, and another point there is that with either Blade Master or the starter, you can get two specific retires for two counterblasts, which is pretty nice considering stuff like Berserk do one specific retire for two counterblast, and they're still basically played. Moving on to the Narukami Double R, and I gotta say this is a card I really like, but I wish there was more to support it because it has potential to be really excellent. It's Remembrance Avatar Vishnu. Vishnu. Vishnu, I think. Yeah, I have difficulty pronouncing some things. I'm sorry. Anyway, when he attacks a Vanguard, your opponent chooses one of their rear guards for each of your noble rear guards. Noble being the race. And retires them and binds them. Then, if the number of cards retired with the effect is 3 or more, he gets a crit. Like, okay, just looking at it from the outset, that's up to 5 free retires with binds. A lot of people ask me what the purpose of binds are. It basically screwing over Grand Blue and Legion decks, and that's all you can really say about it. But again, the effect on the outset is a potential of 5 free retires with an additional crit on top, which it's just so crazy. It's too bad about the noble condition, because there aren't a lot of nobles that can be played in every deck. For those of you that don't know, nobles are another deck that exists in Narukami that's based around having additional copies of your boss on rearguard. The primary ones are Vayu and Indra, and in addition to that, there's one that just came out in GBTO2, whose name I cannot remember. Then there's Dark Celestial Maiden Kali, which is kind of an interesting way to go. She's just an 11k attacker, which slightly better than the other guys, considering that they're all 10k bases, which sucks. And then the heal trigger. So, ostensibly, you could try to, like, tech in some, like, Vayu and the heal trigger into, like, a Narukami deck where you don't need an important backup or break ride or anything. And then get a lot of free retires. Which is cool. But unfortunately, it's a little too specific with the nobles there. They need, like, actual noble rear guards. Which, if that ever happens, I'm gonna be playing this card a lot. Finally, from the FC, we have Nebula Dragon Maximum Seal Dragon. This card pissed me off on 2 levels, because Nebula made me think of Nebula Lord, who I loved, and Seal Dragon made me think of Seal Dragons, which I love. And it's neither of them! It's a Link Joker, Counterblast 1. When it attacks a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, it gets 5,000 for every locked card. Not that bad, not that great. If you do have, like, the Break Stride and 2 locks on boards, that's basically 10k on attack. So it's a Atmos that can get better with more locks. But frankly, I'm not that big a fan of power on strides, because already from the point you stride, it's 26 with 3 drives, so they're basically gonna perfect guard or no guard. So it kind of seems like a waste. But still, it's a nice, good card to go into for the first stride. And that's really all you can ask for. Moving on to Monday. First reveal we got... Oh, Monday. Monday. Did a lot of good things for me, and then it broke my heart. So let's start with the good things. Pure Love Succubus. Stride fodder for Dark Regulars. Nothing to say there. Saves you a hand, makes striding less conditional. And if you want to play a Shar Harlot deck, it makes it more consistent. Panana. It is what it is. Then, after that, we got the actual reveal of Shar Harlot, who is the Break Stride for Dark Regulars. Very awesome. I like him a lot. His effects are, first, Continuous Vanguard Circle, Gen Break 2. During your turn, if the number of cards in Soul is 6 or more, he gets 10k power. And if the number of cards in Soul is 10 or more, he gets a crit. His secondary ability is Counterblast 1. During a turn when your G unit strides, you may pay the cost if you do Soul Charge 2. And your Vanguard gets, when this unit attacks, if the number of Soul is 6 or more, your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires it. Really nice card, because it basically one-ups the formula for Break Strides up to this point. And that's like a really nice feature to me. I think this is what they should be doing with all the Dark Regular cards. Using the Soul conditions to expand the realm of possibilities. And this does it really well, because with a normal break stride like Blade Master or Susanoo, Vanquisher, and Chronojet, it's you get the +1 and then that's it. But this gets the +1 and it also gets a soul charge. And with Susanoo and Blade Master, it's just 5k and a crit, but this gets 10k and a crit. So it makes it a little more conditional, but 10 cards in the soul is honestly easy as pie, especially after you've used his effect twice. So it really one-ups break strides, which is great, and I really think this is a direction we should be headed in with Dark Irregulars. Next card that we got revealed on Monday is Reticent Liberator Bren. I'm gonna call him Bren. When another of your units is placed on rearguard from the deck, if you have a Vanguard with Liberator in its card name, he gets 2k power and the auto effect of when he hits a Vanguard, choose a card in your damage zone, and unflip it. Obviously. He's a grade 2 Gold Paladin. What's really nice here is that he stacks. So basically he becomes like your grade 2 version of Bruno. And in addition to that, he can unflip a lot of cards at once if he hits. So it leaves him a lot of potential, especially in like the Bluish Flame deck and decks like that, where you're trying to create these loop calls and call a lot in one turn. Because that way you can create a massive row with him and recoup all the CBU expended doing it. So he's really good. I think he's probably going to be stable in Gold Paladins, or Liberators at least, because we're going to have a generic Gold Paladin build because this is the G era. And it's good. Not much to say. Moving on to Seal Dragon Tarpaulin Draco Kid. Again, that's something I probably pronounced wrong. His effect is, first of all, crit trigger. Crit trigger. So, he will definitely see play. They can guarantee that just by the crit trigger. When he's placed on rearguard, if you have a Vanguard with Seal Dragon in its name, choose a card from your damage zone for each of your opponent's grade 2s and turn it face up. I gotta tell you, this is excellent, especially in like an Inferno build, because they do use up a lot of CB in Seal Dragons with like your what's his name? Corduroy, I think? Yeah, I think it's Corduroy. The counterblast to replace one of your opponent's rear guards with a grade 2 from the top of their deck. And obviously Inferno himself. And Terry Cloth. And if you're teching Conroe. And if you're teching Berserk. But yeah, you got the point. There is Counterblast being used in Seal Dragons, and this unflips. Do I think his effect is going to go off a lot? Probably not, because people are reluctant to actually call crit triggers because they're 10k shields. But it's there. If you're out of Counterblast in late game and have like Inferno on your Vanguard and need to make your push, he'll allow you to make your push. So, really great card. Definitely a 4-of for all Seal Dragon players. Okay, moving on to the point where Bushiroad broke my heart. Remember how I said Shadow Paladins might not be meta? No, they're gonna kill us all. They're gonna kill us all. Witty Revenger Tayrunan. Oh my god, this thing. Grade 2, auto rearguard counterblast 1 when your Vanguard legions. You may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets, until the end of the turn, it gets auto Vanguard. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, your opponent may choose one of his or her rearguard and retire it. If they don't, until the end of the turn, your opponent can call cards from their hand to Guardian Circle. Oh my god. This in an Abyss deck is just so friggin' lethal. It's a single R, by the way, so don't expect the rarity to save you. Because that's 2 cards gone already, or else you'll automatically die. And then they've got both Blaster Darks in the deck to retire more stuff. And the cherry on top is Phantom Blaster Diablo. So, with all that retire power, and if you're ever caught on low field, they can use one of either Phantom Blaster Diablo or Tehran combined with Abyss to auto-kill you. This is very bad for the game, and it's terrible, and oh my god, we're all gonna die. If you're a Shadow Paladin player, enjoy it. You've got the most broken deck in the world. I'm just gonna try to fight back. 9 out of 10 for this fucking kill everyone card. Moving on to Tuesday, when we got the, and by the way, these will all be like one day behind where the card of the day is supposed to actually be, but these are the reveals we got on the days, because most of the reveals this week were not card of the days. First on Tuesday, we got Lofty Head Lion. I don't understand the name, but it's your backup boss for golds. Gen break 1 during your turn when a unit is placed on rearguard from the deck. This unit and that unit get power plus 3k. Similar to the Stride, but it doesn't work with the Liberator engines, so I'm not sure how effective it... You know what, I am sure it's going to be minimally effective unless they actually get things that can really pump up the calls. Which is only a maybe. And then Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, when it's placed on Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, look it up to 4 cards from the top of the deck, choose one, call it an open rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck. Plus 1 on ride. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, that's your backup boss if you want to play generic G Gold Paladins. And moving on to my favorite thing. Dark Irregulars, again. We got an amazing starter in the form of Amon's follower, Barmaid Grace. This is Act, Rearguard Circle, Counterblast 1, rest this unit. If you have a Vanguard with Amon in its name, Soul Charge 2, and choose one of your Amon units, and it gets power plus 1k for each card in Soul, as a continuous skill, instead of just giving it the power. It's so epic. It's so epic, and anyone that's ever fought Amons can tell you how epic that is, because the number, it's almost a guaranteed 15 to start with, and I can tell you a lot of the time I do end up shooting for like 20k in my Amons, so a guaranteed 20 to a row is just bonkers. Really gonna help get the kill potential there. And the nice thing is that it can add it to Vanguard or Rearguard, so you can either stack it all on the Vanguard for that big hit, or spread it out in case your opponent has like a perfect card or something. And it's fantastic. The resting it is a little bit of a drag. I guess that was like reverse support, but no one plays reverse anymore because that's stupid with Astaroth. But hey, I mean, if you were really invested in the cross ride body. Okay. Next, we got Amon's follower Grusan. He's a crit trigger also, so definitely going in every deck. Counterblast one card with Amon in its name. When it's put into soul by one of your card effects, if you have a Vanguard with Amon in its name, and the number of cards in your soul is 6 or more, you pay the cost. If you do, your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires it. Counterblast 1 for +1 when he's soul. First off, takes away the downside from soul charging triggers, because a lot of people like to complain about soul charging triggers, but now when you soul charge a trigger, you get a plus. And getting a plus from actually soul charging makes soul charging have more utility. This is an excellent card. Again, something we need more of. If they get like a grade 1 and a grade 2 counterpart of this, I will be off the friggin' wall with joy. And there it is. It's a crit trigger, so everyone's gonna play it. And blessing from soul charging. Fantastic. Then we move on to Wednesday, and the only thing we got Wednesday was the card of the day for Thursday. So I guess moving on to Thursday. Covert Demonic Dragon Magatsu Typhoon. He's the Revive Legion for GBT03. He's double R, he's Murkumo, and he legions with Magatsu Storm. His skills, other than the Legion, are when he legions, choose up to 5 of your guards with Magatsu in the name, and they get 5k power and boost until the end of the turn. And act, choose a card from your hand and discard it. Search your deck for one card with the same name as the unit on your Vanguard, call it your rearguard, shuffle your deck, and at the end of the turn, return it to your hand. So, my first part is, it's okay. It's vanilla beatdown. Shame that it doesn't work with Magatsu Storm's call effect. If they just made it like a continuous on the turn Legion, like Vera or something, it would have been a really tight little combo there. But vanilla beatdown, not much to say about that. The only part of this card that's really like interesting is that second ability can be used to Legion loop. Like the Japanese players used to love to ride the X, Legion, search out the X, and then next turn ride the X, call a Calamity Tower, Soul Blast the X in the end, draw a card, Legion, search the X, lather, rinse, repeat. And you can basically do that with this and Sukarok, and it'll be a much cheaper infinite legioning deck. So, if that's the kind of thing that interests you, it's definitely worth a look, and you can play it either with or without the Ride Chain. Without the Ride Chain, it's... Well, the second skill there always guarantees that the first effect will give one lane a 16k booster, which is nice. With the Legion and the Ride Chain, you have a lot more chances to set up 26k columns across the board. And 26k columns are nice. The important thing about Magatsu Storm being the mate is that when he calls, he gets 3k, so the Legion swings for 24. So with something like Sukarok, it's a 31k row. So that adds to the vanilla beatdown, and the Magatsu Typhoon that you called with the second effect behind the Magatsu Storm, we call it the Magatsu Storm's effect, will be a 26k roll guaranteed. So it guarantees a 31 and a 26. And at least 10, but not much to say about an at least 10, because you're going to need to boost that. So yeah, a lot of deck building options. It's nice. It's nice. I'm still waiting to see what Murakumo has in terms of like rearguard support and the triple R's. But they could be an interesting side deck after GBT03. Friday's card of the day, though, man. Friday's card of the day. We finally got the full reveal of One Who Is Abhorrent, Gilles de Rais. This card is excellent. Oh my god. It's so powerful. So potent. And if I wasn't so pissed about shadows coming to kill us all, I would be thrilled for the game after this comes out, because I want to play this so bad. And maybe I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite because it's also broken, but whatever. Time to talk about this skill. Choose a face-down card named One Who Is Abhorrent, Gilles de Rais, from your G-Zone and turn it face up. This skill is an act, by the way. If the number of cards in your soul is 10 or more, he gets 10k power. If the number of cards in your soul is 15 or more, he gets a glory skill. And if the number of face-up cards in your G-Zone is 2 or more, he gets a crit. This thing one-ups everything in the game. And that's what I was talking about before with Sharharla. It's so great to be able to just one-up things. This, like... Oh, you've got Saint Blow, you've got Power and a Crit. Oh, we've got Power and a Crit and Glory. Oh, you've got Ragnarok. You've got a Crit and Guard Restriction. Oh, we've got Guard Restriction, Crit, and Power. Just take that. Like, this thing can easily go toe-to-toe with, like... I know everyone's saying Lambros is one of the best. I think Lambros is, like, mediocre on his own. The deck is good, but he's mediocre. But he definitely goes toe-to-toe with Lambros. He goes toe-to-toe with the Restanders. He goes toe-to-toe with Diablo. He's such a fantastic card. He's easily one of... I'm not going to say he's the best, but he's one of the best G units in the game. Just for the sheer fact that you have a 36k glory with a crit. And then, that's not even the end of it, because if you factor in the combos of, like, Doreen and Barmaid, that means you can easily get his power up to, like, preposterous amounts. Just think about it. He starts at 36, then with a Doreen behind him, that's 42. With Barmaid, that's guaranteed 57 plus 6, 63. The funny thing about him that not a lot of people recognize is that you can easily get him to, like, the 70s and 80s, and the normal amount of shield coming from grade zeros in an average deck is 140k. So even if your opponent gets all their triggers in a game, after both his turns, they're still gonna get hit. Which is hysterically awesome, because you can guarantee yourself that crit swing, and especially if you're playing a crit deck, which why wouldn't you be? It's Dark Irregulars. You can really guarantee yourself the ability to close the game. And this was what Echo wanted but never had. He couldn't guarantee the ability to close the game. It's gonna be fairly similar to the playstyle of Idrisil, which is to basically try to avoid getting early rushed and pound your opponent down with these massive number high crit Vanguard Glory swings. But the difference is that one, Gilles has the triple drive, whereas Iggy had the twin drive. And two, Dark Irregulars has rear guards, which Genesis does not. Seriously, if like Doreen for one, and then any of the guaranteed 21k rows with like anything that soul charges two in front of a Doreen, or any of the 12k attackers in front of the grade 1 Amon. So you're not only putting on pressure with the Vanguard, you're putting on pressure with the rear guards. And so it's such a fantastic deck. And when you factor in that, in addition to that, it also has a little bit of retire power, which, again, Genesis didn't have with Idrisil, you can see that it's gonna be a very serious threat to be reckoned with. And this may be the first time in a while that Dark Irregulars are really like a tier 1 deck. So I'm incredibly psyched for this. I hope you are too, but I can imagine a couple of you out there just imagining yourselves stuck between the crazy Dark Regulars and the crazy Shadow Paladins, and I feel for you. It'll come back around in time. Everyone gets broken support in their own turn. Just hang on, try to have fun. Char Harlot may actually be a cheap deck to build, because, let's be honest, Dark Regulars aren't that popular, so just getting a Char Harlot and maybe like even just 2 Shield Array and Demagogue or something, and you can probably build that deck for under $100. So, yeah, get Dark Irregulars. Until then, until next week, watch out for shadows. This is Firefang92 signing out.